Cycle syncing is a method to organize and optimize your productivity, food, self-care, exercise, and social life based on the 4 phases of your cycle, which just really quickly are the follicular phase, the ovulatory phase, the luteal phase, and the menstrual phase. Hi there, I'm Antonie, and I talk about all things feminine self-development for women and feminine people, and how to live a more empowered and energized life that you love. So if that sounds like something for you, make sure to click that subscribe button and keep watching. So this video is actually going to be a little bit different because this video is going to be part 1 of a 2-video series, which is all about cycle syncing, what it is, and why you should get started. And we'll cover even more about the 4 different phases of your cycle in the second part of this video series. In this video, we'll go way more into what cycle syncing is really all about, what it is based on, and things to take into consideration before you start cycle syncing. But overall, what I really want to try to answer with this video is why you should start syncing your life with your menstrual cycle. So as you may know, cycle syncing is actually a concept that was pioneered by a woman called Elisa Vitti and her company Flow Living. And you can learn so much in depth about it in her book called In the Flow, which I'll add a link for in the description box below. And I'll also add a link in the description box for the official website for cycle syncing. And cycle syncing is essentially based on the fact that as a woman or a person with female biology, you have 2 biological systems or hormonal rhythms working in your body. The first one is the 24-hour clock, or known as the circadian rhythm. And you can think of this system as the one that follows the sun, and something that has the same kind of ebbs and flows in your hormones and biology day to day. And this is what people with male biology follow. And this is also the only system that men have, and that controls the way that their hormones function. But you, as a woman with female biology, you have a second system. And that is the 28-day clock, or also known as the Infradian Rhythm. And you can think of this one as the one that follows the moon, which goes through different phases or stages of the moon throughout a month, which means approximately 28 days. This system is incredibly powerful and affects everything from your brain, your mood, your hormones, sleep, metabolism, nutritional needs, energy, and so much more. And if you're not taking this biological system into consideration, you're basically missing out on more than half of your biological system and your health. So again, you as a woman with female biology, you have both clocks or systems operating within your body. And the 24-hour clock is something that you've had since birth and that you will have throughout your entire life. The 28-day clock is one that kicks in during your reproductive years. So essentially from your first period until your last, or right before you go into menopause. So during those years is when you have that 28-day clock active and living within your body and affecting your hormones and your brain and your immune system and all of those things. And so even though that clock technically stops after your menopause, I have read about a lot of women who still like to follow the system of cycle syncing and still like to organize their life based on that cyclical kind of living. So you might even want to continue living that way even after your menopause. Now, there is something that is really, really important to bring up when we talk about cycle syncing and the 28-day clock and the natural rhythm of your body, which is that if you are on any form of hormonal birth control, so this can be the pill or an implant or any sort of hormonal contraceptive, that type of contraceptive will affect your natural rhythm and your natural biology. So if you are on hormonal birth control, it will essentially stop your body from producing the kind of hormones that put you through that cycle. And so because your body isn't producing the same kind of hormones that it would naturally do without the hormonal contraceptive, you won't be on that natural cycle if you are also using hormonal birth control. Which means that while you're on hormonal birth control, you won't be experiencing the same kind of effects and the same kind of ebbs and flows in your hormones, which means you will also not gain all of the benefits that cycle syncing can offer, which is really important to know before you start learning about cycle syncing. And it's also really important to start understanding what hormonal birth control does to your body and your biology and your hormones. Which I'm honestly saying from experience, because I used hormonal birth control for over 6 years and I had no idea about the 28-day clock. I had no idea what my hormones could naturally do. And I had no idea what that hormonal birth control was doing to stop my body from doing what it's able to do. Now, there's also something else that is really important to know before you start cycle syncing, which is that there is more to your health than the hormones that cycle syncing allows you to optimize and take into consideration. Although your hormones are a way bigger part of your health than most women are guided to realize. But to really get the benefit of cycle syncing and to really get the benefit of supporting your hormones, there are a few other things to take into consideration and make sure that you are supporting those systems as well to really get the most out of your hormonal health. And one of those things is your gut health, which is often considered your second brain. And the level of your gut health is heavily going to impact your hormones and your cycle, and the level to which your body is able to break down the different hormones throughout your cycle. So making sure that your gut is actually in good health is going to impact your ability to cycle sync and your ability to get the most out of syncing with your hormones. And the second thing that is heavily going to impact your health and your hormones is your nervous system or your stress levels or the level to which you have cortisol pumping through your body. And in essence, if your body is living in a constant fight, flight, or freeze response and it's just constantly pumping cortisol into your body or a lot of times throughout the day, then that is going to impact the rest of your hormones and it's going to impact your cycle. So if either one of those things are out of balance, that is going to impact your cycle syncing abilities and the level to which you can benefit from syncing with your cycle and optimizing your hormones. So if you have been cycle syncing for a while, but you feel like you haven't gotten the most benefit out of it, it might be because you haven't optimized your gut health or because you're pumping so much cortisol into your body all the time. Or if you hear other people talking about how cycle syncing isn't everything, then they might be thinking about the fact that you need to take those systems into account as well. Something else that you should know about cycle syncing is that this concept is based on the fact that because of the way that your hormones fluctuate throughout the month, it actually changes your brain and your body throughout the month, which means that your body has different needs throughout the month. And there are also some activities that will feel really good to you and come naturally to you in some phases of your menstrual cycle, while other times they just won't really feel that good or they won't flow as much. But it's really important to remember that this is not a confirmation of what society has kind of been trying to tell you all along, which is, yep, women can't do everything all the time. Because that is not what this is about, and that is not what embracing your Infradian rhythm has anything to do with. You are absolutely 100% capable of doing anything at any time whenever you want to. But the point is that there will be certain times throughout your menstrual cycle and throughout the month that you will essentially be primed to do different things, which means that you will flow way easier into a task or activity, and it won't feel like a dread or feel like you really have to focus and really have to force yourself to get this done. And they will feel a lot better to you, and you won't feel so drained after doing them when you sync them to the different phases of your cycle. And what I want you to realize is that that is something that men and people with male biology have been doing for centuries. They have already figured this out and they have already been doing it. The only thing that's been wrong on all of this is that people have made you believe that you need to do it the exact same way, and that you need to do it with your 24-hour clock as well, without taking into account your 28-day cycle. Because the thing is, men have been doing their exercise and most productive work in the morning. And then in the afternoon, they will socialize and communicate and spend more time with people, while in the evening, they will take some time for rest and just recharging so that they can wake up feeling good in the morning again. And they do this and they feel good doing this because that's what their 24-hour clock supports. And that is what their 24-hour clock and their biological system wants. But the thing is, you have a second system and you are able to do the same. You are able to sync and organize and structure your life in a way that actually supports that 28-day clock. but it's not structured on a day-to-day basis. It is structured on a month-to-month basis. So there will be times when you feel really productive and creative and overall energetic and ready to start new things. And there will be times when you will feel like you actually want to socialize and you want to communicate your thoughts and your ideas and you just want to be around other people. And there will be times when you just really want to get focused and sit down and really tackle your to-do list and just get things wrapped up and completed. And there will be a time when you just feel like you want to relax and you just want to snuggle up under a blanket and read a good book or watch a good show before the cycle begins all over again. So men have been doing this for centuries, and it's about time that you start doing it too. But doing it your way, doing it the way that is actually supportive and necessary for your biology. So remember that this is part 1 to a 2-part video series all about cycle syncing and its benefits. So do not forget to keep a lookout for the second video. I really hope this video brought you some value and got you excited about learning more about your infradian rhythm and supporting your body the best way possible. And if you enjoyed it, I really hope that you will click that like button. It really helps me out, and I'd love to hear your comments as well and to learn what stage of cycle syncing you're in. If you're a complete newbie and this is the first time you hear about your infradian rhythm, or if you know a little bit but maybe haven't gotten quite started yet, or if you're a pro cycle syncer already. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on the second video and on any other videos. And in the meantime, check out these videos.